This is why I love America. This is a picture of my parents, Arthur Lewis Flandro and Claire Pendleton Flandro. They waited 5 years to be married until after the armistice of World War I was signed in November the 11th, 1918. This picture was taken in 1918 when my dad served in France as a non-commissioned officer assigned to the Signal Corps, which later became the Army Air Force. They were married in 1920, and I was born August the 26th, 1921, the first of 6 children, 1 daughter and 5 sons. Later in 1924, Dad joined the Army Officer Reserve as a 2nd lieutenant. Our family lived during the Great Depression. We learned to work. I rode my bike and had a paper route, delivered magazines weekly, and helped deliver milk in a horse-drawn wagon. Mother gave us piggy banks. You might know what those are. This taught us to spend our money wisely. Mother mended our clothes, and we were happy for hand-me-down clothing. I remember putting cardboard in my worn-out soles of our shoes. It was a challenge for my parents to provide food for their hungry bunch of children. We had no refrigerators, only an icebox. We had a 4-party phone line that we shared in 3 other families and could only use the phone when it was not busy. There were no TVs, and we played outside with the neighborhood children. We had fun. As we played kick the can and other games, the family often gathered around the radio at 9 in the evening to listen to Amos and Andy and the Lux Radio Theater. Life was simple and life was good. My father was called back into the military service in January of 1941 and served in World War II and was subsequently promoted to the rank of full Army colonel. He retired from the military service after 60 years on September the 30th, 1952. Our father had a great influence on his 6 children. He encouraged us to get an education and to be involved with the ROTC program at East High School and the University of Utah. All 5 sons, Paul, Royce, Dale, Scott, and Mark, followed in their father's military footsteps. My sister Beverly married a Navy medical doctor, Lloyd Call. I enrolled at the University of Utah in the fall of 1939 and continued in the ROTC program. At this time, there was horse-drawn field artillery at the University of Utah. And I was involved in riding and caring for the horses. I became attached to the horses and excited to play horse polo. I later was invited to play on the University of Utah polo team and led it for 3 years. Our team played competitive polo games with other universities like Stanford, Arizona State, USC, and other colleges and universities that had ROTC horse-drawn artillery. Life was good. I was up early cleaning the engineering building before school to earn my money. I enjoyed the social life and the activities of the university. Our family only had a company car, and it was not for family use. We took the streetcar, rode our bikes, and walked. I enjoyed the matinee dances in the old Union building that today is the music building on the University of Utah campus. These were wonderful years as we danced to the big band recordings. played on a turntable record player. There were football games, etc. And as a student, I was not really aware of the world conditions. Our nation was still in aftermath of the Great Depression. Hitler came into power in Nazi Germany. The Germans were not happy with the settlements made after World War I. Hitler built Germany into a war machine. He began to threaten all of Europe. Nazi Germany invaded Poland in September of 1939, which actually started World War II. On December the 7th, 1941, our family had all returned home from Sunday school. My mother was rushing to serve Sunday dinner because some of the children were in a hurry to practice the Messiah at the tabernacle. Then the word came over the radio. Japan had just dropped bombs on Pearl Harbor. That news changed our lives forever. This shows a spectacular explosion on the U.S. destroyer at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This was the wreckage from the surprise aerial attack on the airfield at Pearl Harbor. This is my father with his sons, Dale, Royce, and Paul, in 1942. Our home life would be broken. Our father was transferred to Pittsburgh, California. This was a sad day. Mother said goodbye to my father, and American families were torn apart. The nation was affected by the World War II in many, many ways. My brother Royce, his unit was called to active duty as a university ROTC cadre. My mother was at Fort Douglas to see Royce drive away in a big truck headed for Camp Hood, California. Colonel Campbell was a professor of military science and tactics over all the ROTC programs at the university. An official Marine delegation came to the university and requested a principal and an alternate. A senior ROTC Army graduating student to resign their Army contract and accept a commission of second lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps as soon as possible. The selection requirement included a fully trained ROTC officer in leadership, horse-drawn field artillery, and tactical training. Did this in April of 1943, and I accepted the appointment as a principal candidate. This was the last year of any horse-drawn ROTC training at any of the universities. They all were replaced by mechanized trucks. Time was of the essence. The Marines allowed me to finish my DS degree, and as I graduated, I was presented with my diploma and also received my orders to report to Quantico, Virginia for basic infantry and horse-drawn field artillery training. This was a life-changing experience.